Hey everybody, welcome back to Joy Hub, the channel where we want to help leaders, teams, and especially married couples journey deeper into joy. I am so excited about today's topic.
Great topic.
Do you want to share what we're going to talk about today?
Dating
Dating.
your spouse.
Yes, married and dating. Nothing scandalous here. I think back, we've dated a lot over the years.
27 years of dating plus.
Yes.
That's just married.
Do you
dating.
remember our very first date, though,
I
even
do.
before marriage?
I do.
I was so focused on Tracy that I accidentally used the women's restroom that night.
It's true. It's true. And we picked wings for our first date night,
Yes.
which was brave, I think.
That was brave. That was brave. What else do you remember about the early days of dating? I remember a lot of cheap dates.
We did do cheap dates. One fun date that I was so excited about was roller skating. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, a roller skate kid. And so we did a roller skate date, and you were naturally gifted at almost everything, but roller skating was not your thing. So it was shocking for me. I was out there, skating backwards, and you were kind of on the wall. And so it was a good first kind of like look at how do we handle something where maybe I could help you a little bit with something. But it was good. It was a good, fun experience.
Yeah.
Roller skating.
I even think back to probably just a month or two ago, we went out and had a nice dinner and then decided we were going to go play some skee ball.
That was fun.
And Tracy beat me.
This almost never happens.
And I'm not even ashamed to say that. And I didn't
No.
get frustrated that night and overly competitive. I'm like, wow, I'm learning how I'm actually maturing in dating.
I know. And I remember one of our first movie dates, I still have the tickets in our scrapbook, with Lion King. And I think that was like the
Yes.
perfect first movie date. So
Yes.
that one's a special memory as well.
Yes. And then, of course, another one of our most recent dates is when I got to surprise you, and I'll never forget the look on your face when I took you back to the little town we were married in and told you that I wanted to reminisce because it had been 10,000 days
Wow.
of marriage.
That was a great date day.
That was fun. That was special.
Very special.
Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about why we see this as so important. This is a big deal to us. We believe it really ought to be a big deal for every married couple.
Yes.
Why? Why is it such a big deal?
I think everyone wants to feel loved. They want to feel desired. And dating is a big part of how we can do that within our marriage, is
Yeah.
we can just keep doing the things we did in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
to start the relationship out strong. And no matter how long you've been married, it feels good to have your partner pursue you,
Mm-hmm.
to be creative, to take time to think about a date, to ask you out on a date, and to put the phone away during the date and engage and reconnect. It kind of keeps that spark alive. And I think that's the critical
I
part.
like the sound of that.
Yes.
The spark alive.
Yes. and it involves like setting aside life and focusing for just a small amount of time on the other person and your relationship. You reconnect. And there's a lot of joy in that.
Yeah. And I think overall, when we look at the trend, we would say we've done this pretty well. Maybe there's other things in our marriage we would say we haven't done great, but we're still growing in. This we would say we've done pretty well, but it wasn't always without challenges and maybe even some roadblocks. Like I know maybe early on, and maybe many guys kind of wrestle with this thought that, well, once you get the I do, once the vows are said and you're living together and you are husband and wife, that it's like, well, I won. The pursuit is over. So why keep dating? So there's different roadblocks. I know early on, even just financial stress,
Yes.
as we weren't making a whole lot in the early days. Just how can we afford to keep going on dates? I know there might even be times when, though we had it scheduled on the calendar, we were maybe in the middle of a conflict.
Yes.
And it didn't seem like it would be all that fun to go on a date with somebody you're in conflict with. What other roadblock can you think that we faced over the years in keeping dating a priority?
I think all those are good, and I can remember some of our date nights were at Moe's on a Moe's Monday or something. But
Yeah.
for me, the one that comes to mind is definitely fatigue and just stage of life. I can remember when we had 3 little ones at home,
gosh,
and
yes.
I was home all day with the kids, and they're demanding things and wanting things from me all day, and then I've got to get everything to get ready to get out the door with them on a date, and then turn around and be ready to date and connect. That was a challenge. I'd be exhausted and just so those are some roadblocks that in seasons of life you can just work through and be honest about, I think.
Exactly. And I think as we've grown together over the years, we've grown to appreciate the honesty to say, hey, maybe we do need to bump it to tomorrow night instead of tonight for those kind of various reasons we shared. I think another roadblock is just not prioritizing it on the calendar, or even letting other things steal it away from the calendar at times. So we're not saying we've done this perfectly. We're just saying we've reaped the benefits of making the effort to continue to pursue each other through a dating life. And as this relates to joy, we've heard it described that joy, or we experience greater joy when someone is glad to be with us.
Right.
So even in the hustle and bustle of life, especially when the kids were little, knowing that we loved each other enough and we wanted to be with each other enough, even if it was a 45-minute date with a homewrecker from Moe's, we knew we wanted to spend time together. And so that developed a greater sense of joy in our marriage. And so we believe that dating is incredibly important. We believe that it does take us into deeper levels of joy when we prioritize dating our spouse.
I agree, and so I have a good idea. How about we go on a date?
Let's-
We go on a date with me?
I will go on a date with you.
And we'd love to take you along on our date. We're going to take you to our favorite dessert date spot.
Oh, I know where that is.
So stay tuned for that. And we're also going to take you along to discuss our favorite marriage book.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.